And, you know, you might be thinking, well, once they had BKBs, they had a way to come back into this, but it really wasn't anyone but the Shadow Fiend that was going to be in a position to have that BKB potential.
Laws was here once again. And this was another fight that looked like it was decent for Aster to start. But just Baboka and Ori just not having enough damage to kill off Toronto Tokyo. Definitely one of the more vulnerable members if you get on top of him. And potentially a big reason why is because you just had this big issue of the freezing field in the middle. The rest of the team couldn't move over to try and help out with maybe some of the damage they were lacking.
Yeah, they realized how important it was in terms of Team Spirit's damage to be able to take out this Zeus. So much more emphasis being placed onto him that they just gave Miposhka a free game. I mean, most of the time when you see a Tiny go down like that, it's a position 4 Tiny that's trying to go for the toss back. But this was a mid Tiny that was almost less net worth than the CM by the end of it.
And I think this is also really important as well for just overall how teams are going to look to address the Brood model, because we've seen Aster, of course, Game 1 they had success on it, Game 2 not as much, but we've also seen that EG, Nightfall, is really playing some incredible Broods, potentially other people as well. I haven't seen anyone else run it, but I'm sure they are. So this now could be the recipe for success. Again, here's a weak laner, and that's where you need to demolish him. Demolish him in the lane, and then have the rest of the team that can also start to rotate as well to continue to shut him down. So this is definitely going to be a hero that will continue to be picked up in the playoffs, and I wonder if we're going to see a similar recipe to try and beat him.
To be fair, I feel like the lane started to go really badly as soon as the Oracle left the lane, right? As soon as you didn't have that purge off for the Frostbite, when you could enable a lot of these kills. And, you know, maybe that was just a mistake coming through from Siamese Cat this time around. You know, needing to stick in the lane. Obviously, you have a Marcy that can look to roam around the map. Top lane wasn't going too badly for Aster. They were using the extra movement speed to be able to get away from Collapse, but just giving a few of those free kills over to the Troll Warlord, getting him into that early timing on the Battle Fury, meant that they just had too much of a net worth lead and they were able to extend it. I mean, even just the smaller things, right? That decision to not have anyone bot with the haste, and a Zeus shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, exactly right. It's not expected. Zeus is a hero that shoves up the lane and maybe goes back and farms as well, but just the decision to use the aggressive glyph was really nice to see from Spirit, instead of using it maybe to protect one of their towers, and that opened up the map for them to continue to play aggressive.
Give it to Miposhka. Come on. Give him the MVP. You got to feel bad for Ori. Like, after what a great game one it was, and hey, let's go. Supports rise up, coming through for Miposhka. I mean, it was so well-deserved, right? He basically did everything perfect that game. Warding, understanding of when he could look to use his abilities in team fights, standing perfectly so that he baits out people without actually committing his life for it. Even with that mega kill streak, being in position to be able to break the smoke around the Roche timers. So, very well-deserved. Support gold spent. He is one of those heroes that, one of those players, rather, that does go quite heavily and appreciate that you are the 5. You are almost the position 6, but not this game. The true carrier of the game, Miposhka on his CM.
Love to see it. And like you said as well, though, the warding was pretty on point. I was a big fan of the wards that we saw at the Triangle. What are we all knowing at?
You don't think the CM's going to get nerfed now, do you? She's already got no movement speed.
She's starting to rise in popularity, man. The CM is yeah, we're seeing it a little bit more, and having some good games.
Please no, Ice Frog. That's all I ask. I love the CM. I don't want it to be suffering too much more than it has over the years. Let it have one moment in the sun. But that's us for us right now. We still don't know the situation entirely with tiebreakers, but the people that do know are the guys on the panel, as well as Nat, that are going to be able to take us through this next little bit. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you later.
It was a battle for the upper bracket between Spirit and Aster here. They Spirit to be able to enter that upper bracket. There are some other results that are at play as to if they will make it or not, but we can break down the games. We can have a chat about what happened here and then we can go on and have a bit of a chat about what happened on all of our other streams. This game one going the way of Aster, though, T-Panda.
Yeah, Aster starting off with a good roll. Monet unkilled in this game on the Razor as well, so really solid performance. Their draft looked like they might be in big trouble at the early stage. The laning stage was a bit wonky, but they did hit their timings pretty well and rolled out from there. Team Spirit, if you look at their draft as a whole, you see a lot of control here. I'm still not a big fan of the Troll Warlord. I think that's a hero that is still a bit of a hit or a miss in my books. Fear, what do you think?
I mean, he's definitely a hit or miss, but when you're playing versus Razor, that's just the worst matchup for Troll in the game, as many people will say, amongst many professionals and myself. I'm like, Razor, very difficult. There's few heroes other than Razor that I think just completely shut down Troll. I don't know how they didn't get this banned, but in for a rough game for sure.
Considering you are the professional, you can keep going onwards and upwards to game number 2 drop. Yes, we will. And we'll see what they picked out there for Spirit to be able to take game number 2.
It's a completely different story here. They got the Troll, again, versus the Broodmother, but guess what we don't see? Razor on the enemy team.
Yep. Adapting and learning, you love to see it.
Adapting and learning indeed. And he had an outstanding laning stage here on Yatoro. He was dominating, so 4 kills in the laning stage against the Broodmother. So he got off to a skyrocketing start. Collapse, he struggled a little bit in the laning stage against the Shadow Fiend, but they pick up really quickly after that. Mirror's Tusk, Collapse's Primal Beast, were roaming across the map, getting kills, making tons of space for Yatoro to farm it up, and they GG'd this out in 19 minutes.
One big impactor for that as well, Miposhka, Crystal Maiden, second highest hero damage as well in this game. So he's done a lot of heavy lifting for the team of that C. And we've talked about the hero quite a lot, and this is the kind of results where you see, damn, that hero's good.
Sometimes it feels like we talk about a hero, all the impact that it has, how good it is, and then we just see it fall off. People find answers for it, people stop picking it or increasing the bans. CM, though, we talked about her yesterday, her stocks are rising, and still today we continue that trend of how good she is looking. But let's move aside from that game. You guys have already seen it, and instead we're going to talk about what's happened over on the other streams. We can start with B stream, having a chat about Fnatic and TSM. This was a match for TSM that they had to win. They need wins here because they are right now at the bottom of the ladder. Fnatic took this game number 1, though, T-Panda.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting draft from Fnatic. I have to say, the thought process with this drafting has been pretty interesting. You're going for a tri-core Monkey King TA sniper, and you've basically got 2 overlapping heroes, and you have a third as a variation to it. But it seemed to work out. I mean, Jabs on this Monkey King, heavy lifting. This guy did a ton of work this game to make it work for them. The TA-DS matchup looks like it's a bit favoring the TA in the safe lane, helps him get back into the game. The sniper with a small edge on the SF mid, but this Monkey King should have, in all terms, struggled against that, or struggle against this /CM. However, it went the other way around. Also, a highlight-worthy notion is the Saberlight Crimson Guard on Darkseer, which is the 7th pickup on this tournament.
Yeah, but that didn't really
help them here, did it?
I will say the draft here from Fnatic, it is a little weird. May look a little greedy, but it kind of works because TSM's running a similar style of the Darkseer doesn't really make many plays. Leshrac and Shadow Fiend seemed like a very farm-heavy type of game, so it just neutralized, and they were able to make it work.
Yeah, and game 2 seems to be still going on at this current moment, but see some perks and some strengths in this draft. A bit of countering here and there. Overall, you could see like TSM has a pretty good lineup to protect the Drow Ranger, Saberlight Dawnbreaker. That's always a nice one to see. But for Fnatic, coming out from a roll from game number 1, we'll see how that one rolls out, unless Nats has an update on the game yet.
I have not in my
not
ears.
An update.
So
all right.
instead,
still going.
I'm going to play everyone's favorite game, Fear. Arbitrary numbers of TSM potentially winning that one.
TSM winning?
Yep.
Oh, that's probably...
Because they need it to avoid being eliminated.
That's a solid 50% then.
Oh, that's probably the most neutral I think I've ever heard you. Straight on 50%.
I mean, yeah, they got their comfort picks on Fnatic in the next game, so they're going off momentum with comfort picks. 50-50, I'll go.
50-50.
50-50. And
arbitrary numbers.
Oh, yeah, they are arbitrary numbers, but you guys can check that one out. It's over on B Stream. C Stream has wrapped up their scheduled best of 2s. That was Tundra up against Entity, and Tundra took it 2-0. This was another important series for Entity to avoid being in that elimination tiebreaker to make sure that they could streak ahead and try and get that lower bracket, but unfortunately it didn't work out for them. The Game 2 Tundra draft, though, is something I want to talk about because we don't have Kezi with us. He is just upstairs. Something he talked about and enjoyed from Tundra was that their counter to Morphling, an idea that they have, is the OD pick. It worked out here in both ways. One, they got it, but they also got the win fear.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things about Tundra's draft here. So first one is going to be the OD versus Morphling. That one is a classic. You have tons of armor on the Morphling here, low hero pool, so the orb goes through all of that armor you have, low HP hero pool. So like that just really hurts. And on top of it, you add the ulti on top of it. It's just big burst. But what else is really cool about this draft is Snaking's playing position 5 Luna.
That's right.
Yeah,
A post 5 Luna. I did not think I would see one of those. Definitely not in TI.
Well, yeah, the reason why it's super good, I wanted to touch up on it real quick, is like the Visage Luna is a classic combination for, there's like hero units and then there's like units. So the hero units can benefit from auras. So the birds actually get the Lunar Blessing from the Luna, which is pretty OP because they attack fast, get a bunch of damage. Bit of a cheese strat, one of the few cheese strats left in Dota nowadays.
The better type of pure damage than pure and Morphling, eh?
I'm not even going to acknowledge that one. Instead, I'm going to move straight on to D-Stream. It was Secret Talon. Yet again, another important series around that elimination. Talon looking there. I think they're currently tied with Entity because Entity didn't pick up a single game for their best of 2. Talon lost game 1 against Secret. Right now, Talon need this game to win. To my understanding, it's still ongoing.
This is game 1, actually.
I was going to say, this is game 1 that we're going to talk about, but game 2 is still going on.
Yeah, exactly. So game 1 here, I really like Secret's draft. I just want to highlight the fact that Nisha's playing Shadow Fiend here. He is the mid carry. Crystallis is going to be playing the carry Slardar, and Rezo playing the Marcy as a core, and they also have a Tusk. So one thing that this draft is really good at is you buff the Shadow Fiend, right? With the sidekick, you got the amplified damage, you got the tag team from Tusk. It's like all in Nisha to carry this game. And I think they did a beautiful job of setting up Nisha for success to carry this game, and they just balled up really quickly in this game. And if I recall, this was also like a 17-minute GG. It was a very fast game.
Okay, well, a bit of a rough blend then. We always talk about momentum. If you're an early GG, it goes one of two ways. You're either kind of done with it or you're ready to move on, reset, and jump into game 2, which is ongoing for you, and this is the draft.
Okay, so let's check this out. So we see...
Oh, you haven't seen this?
No, of course not.
The surprise.
Yeah,
surprise.
This draft was going on when we were coming downstairs. So like this Broodmother, we're seeing a lot of it. The answer is going to be 23 Savage Lone Druid. But he also has a Lycan on his team, so that's a lot of Zoo here. I really think the tempo from Team Secret here might be too much for Talon to hold, as Lycan and Lone Druid might take too long to come online.
And you talked as well about the Lycan biting the Lone Druid Bear as well, which is a very cool thing.
And if you get there, it is it's fun for sure.
Yeah,
but
it's fun for sure.
You do kind of need to get the Ags at some point on Lone Druid to make it work, or you out-leash your bear because it's so fast and your hero's so slow. But when you get to the point where you have Ags on the Lone Druid, it is a very devastating combo. But we saw in the last game, Secret did not let that game drag on for very long. And Nisha, he does play the magic damage Lina here. So this game, I'm going to have to check up on. It's always a treat to watch Nisha play this Lina.
To get a little bit of an update, it's on minute 19. Apparently it is somewhat even. I don't know how accurate, to what degree, or the state of that game, but that is the information I have been fed. That is the D-Stream, E-Stream going on as well. That is Thunder Awaken and Beast Coast being played out. Game 2 ongoing. Game 1 went the way of Beast Coast. I believe that this series is, if Thunder Awaken win a game, then they are upper bracket.
Absolutely correct. So Thunder Awaken, with just 1 point, will be the first SA team to be in the upper bracket. If this one ends up being a tie, well, or a loss situation, that's going to be tough. Well, tie, obviously, they get the point from it. Sorry, correction there. So if Beast goes 2-0s this, we might be looking at either tiebreakers or who knows what's still up in store. There's still a lot of surprises up in this one.
I mean, that was a little sad for game 1 because I was watching that one, and Thunder, I'm not going to say they threw it, but they were ahead by far, and it looked like they're going to take it, but ultimately lost it.
Yeah, they have this good control. Like, in a lot of drafts, Thunder Awaken can hold on to that lead very well, and it must be pretty awkward for them to, like, lose control of the game, like, let their opponents back in. Is it just a momentum shift that happens there, or is it just basic draft understanding where the whole situation changes? So, Thunder Awaken, they definitely got their strengths and need to hold on to those guns.
Hopefully it can happen in game 2 for them. Again, it's undergoing, so we can have a look at the scoreboard. It's not going to be fully completed. We have updated it to the extent that we can. Group 1, all done and dusted. We had that happen before. We didn't get to talk about it on the panel, though, so gosh, do I have an update and a half for you guys. There were, I believe, 100 different outcomes for Group A that we could have seen, and of all the timelines we live in the one where we have a 3-way tiebreak between BetBoom, Boom, and Sonics for 1 spot left in the lower bracket for TI11. They are going to be playing over on C Stream. They are all playing a best of 1 against each other. I have no idea how many times this could go around. It might happen once. It might happen twice.
Infinity.
I was going to say we could be here for the rest of the day. But that's happening on C-Stream. Again, out of those 3 teams, only 1 is going forward. The rest are going to have to be saying goodbye. That's going to be the end of their season for this year. And Fear, I don't know if you've ever been in that situation before, either as a player or a coach, where it's a 3-way tie for 1 spot.
For a TI playoff spot?
For anything. Anything
Not
at
that
all.
I can remember, but
He's
it must
always
be
made
very,
it through.
so it must be very stressful for sure, especially because it is TI. You don't want to go home. Like, these are usually the games where people play most conservatively.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Not much to add to it, yeah.
It is really tough to see Boom, who are a team that have really shined in Southeast Asia, being in this position. BetBoom as well, they came through on the Eastern European qualifiers in first place. So a lot of expectations were placed on these teams, and they're sitting down there at the bottom. We're going to have a look at the C-Stream schedule so you guys know that it's going to be Sonics and Boom facing off first. Whoever wins that will go up against BetBoom. Depending on the outcome of that, we might not have a third game, because remember, it's only 1 spot. But if the winner of the first series doesn't win the second, winner of the first game doesn't win the second game, then we go to game number 3 and we see what occurs there. Do you want to do bold predictions?
Yeah.
Of course
Absolutely.
you do. Why do I?
Why else would I be here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. Why else did we ask you, Fear, if it wasn't for bold predictions and arbitrary numbers?
Boom's going home. All
Oh,
of
I
them.
thought you were going to say who was going to win. Oh,
Yeah.
so you think BetBoom and Boom, so you think Sonics are winning?
Yeah, 2-0.
Okay.
I was
2-2.
thinking
We're
reverse
going to see
psychology.
2 games. Sonics, they're going through. BetBoom, Boom, they're going out.
So, an NA point of view, I guess?
Just a logical
Just
point
a
of view.
logical one. Right. I mean, for both Boom and maybe Bet... Well, I wouldn't actually say Boom. I'm just going to say BetBoom maybe looks the weakest out of these 3 because they don't have the international experience against other teams. They've played against East European teams. They started off Division 2 at the start of the year. So that might be something where BetBoom either surprises, like they've been trying different drafts. They seem to work as well. So, they've got to come up with something special for this one to keep themselves alive. And they're probably watching that Sonics Boom game pretty anxiously.
I think everyone was watching all the games anxiously. It was so hard to be able to keep eyes across all the games that were playing out, being like, this could happen, this could still happen. Some of the comebacks as well. I couldn't believe BetBoom in that game number 2. You guys should definitely go back and watch it if you have the time, or just head over to the C-Stream, see how those tiebreakers are going to play out. I'm going to ask production for a request to bring back up the scoreboard, because we talked about Group A, the tiebreakers that were there, but I actually didn't get to talk about Group B, even though they were the series that we were playing. So hopefully we can...
Use your magic.
Please.
Magician fingers rolling, maybe now, maybe just in a moment.
Or we could just talk
we'll get
about
to see.
the fact that Tundra, Secret, and Aster are locked in for the upper bracket. Yeah, there we go. We're looking for a total of 18 games over there in Group B. That means they're all done and dusted. They've played all the games they possibly can. Tundra, Secret, Aster locked in. The rest is still a little bit TBD on what is happening. And I want to have a chat about Tundra. Fear, you made your bold prediction that Tundra were probably not going to do so well. If anything, they were going to be in the lower bracket. They're a team that hasn't had the best history on LAN. In Arlington is where they really struggled, but Stockholm, they came 3rd. What sort of Tundra really showed up here? Is it because they had low expectations either on themselves personally or from the outside public perspective?
That may have been my day 1 prediction, so I'm not sure, but I remember on day 3...
I'm calling day 1 Fear out.
when they only had like 4 games played.
Yeah, we hadn't seen them play in like 60 days or something.
So the thing is, like, they showed up, right? And I can tell with this team, based off their first couple games, what we're going to see from them. We're going to see either the Tundra that's going to struggle and everyone's a little disappointed by because we know they can do better, or we're just going to see the Tundra that we want to see, and that's the one that just comes out strong and finishes strong.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on that. Like, European powerhouses for sure. Already a lot of spots for European teams into the upper bracket, which is kind of a surprising stat in a way, but at least for some people. But like Tundra, I think a lot of people were sleeping on them at the start, and they basically showed everybody why they are one of the top seeds in this group as well. I mean, looking at the rest of the squad, can they keep up with them? Are they the trailblazers for the playoff stage? Who sets the pace?
I feel like it might be Secret. I'm just going to answer your question.
Potentially.
Because, I mean, they were a last chance qualified team, and here they are sitting second on Group B. Liquid, last chance qualified team, sitting second in Group A. There's clearly something to be said about, again, momentum. I know it feels like beating a bit of a dead horse there because we keep bringing it up, but
it's true.
Yes, it is true. But Secret have also been able to adapt Fear from last chance qualifiers to groups.
I mean, that's just Puppy. He's been adapting his whole career. Yeah, he's used to this. He's a veteran.
Yeah. For specific reasons, I would like to quote him as the Shakespeare of drafting. There is a reason why Puppy continues to impress and provide more for the team, for the players, come up with these talented stars in the roster, and overall, like that whole LCQ run from the upper bracket straight into here, now going again into the upper bracket of the playoffs. Like, this team is definitely a trendsetter.
Mm-hmm. Is there another team that's a trendsetter, even if it's not converting to results?
Maybe from Group A. Obviously, OG at the start of the year, a lot of people were watching how they were playing, what kind of heroes they do. Now, at the end of the year, I think things started to change a little bit. Teams started adapting to the different drafts. We talked about the Mars hero pool, for example, that he still sticks to his guns. You know, like he wants to go with his own heroes. They seem to work. Sometimes they don't. But maybe the China trend. Like, we've talked a lot about SEA teams, how they draft, what heroes they prioritize, how the China teams have come into this one. We've already got two of them in the upper bracket, potentially. Like, yeah, we see Aster's already confirmed and LGD. So these teams also have their own trend and own meta that they want to draft. And they didn't get to participate from the start of the year into the other tournaments as well, which was a bit of a bummer. But now we get to see what they're truly made of.
Mm-hmm. They're coming up against some of the best international teams. Gaming Gladiators, another team that we haven't had the chance to talk too much about. They've been locked in for the lower bracket over on Group A. They did really well at Stockholm Major. I'm just going to say it. Then it kind of really went downhill for them. They didn't qualify for Arlington Major. And because of their performance over at Stockholm Major, we didn't see them in regional qualifiers either. Do you think it took them a really long time, Fia, to get started here? Or are you actually really impressed with what they've been able to perform?
I think they're performing about as well as I thought they would. They have really big names here, but I think no matter how you look at it, they're kind of the underdogs going into this. They don't have a ton of experience as a team. The results have been a little lackluster. But I talked to Kezo. He knows the guys pretty well, and he's like, you know, they're the dark horse for the most part. Like, they have a lot of big names on here, and people are going to sleep on them. And, you know, I think many people thought they might be going out in the first round, but they proved everyone wrong there.
Yeah, they have some star power, but I think yet to prove.
Yeah, sorry, I had a producer in my ear. I think we're getting updates from the games that are currently going on.
From all of them?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to put him on the spot. There we go. Fnatic TSM, this is what is happening at the moment. We can have a bit of a discussion about seeing the net worth, Fear, how you feel that the rest of the game could play out for TSM to maybe come back and get that win that they need so badly.
I mean, it's a 1K advantage at 24 minutes into this game. It looks very, very close.
It's very open.
Very open. The Lifestealer is on top net worth. Drow is on top net worth. So whose draft would I favor? This really just comes down to execution. But I think the Jab's Monkey King, and they have the Disruptor again. Is that DJ playing it yet again? Probably, right? Because Daniel's probably on that Enchantress. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I assume that Fnatic are in a good spot here because Disruptor eventually will get the Ags, and we've seen how much of a late game powerhouse that item can be on Disruptor.
Also, quick shout out, happy birthday, Jean-Well. I know it's his birthday right
happy
there over
birthday.
in Singapore. Hopefully you can get a win. I know you're not even going to watch this back, but that'd be nice for them. Get the win, sit pretty in the lower bracket. Did you have anything you wanted to add on, T-Pen, before I interrupted there?
No, not really. I mean, looked at both of the drafts. Basically, they're just about to hit their timing. So if you're sleeping on the game, go watch it now. I think that's the best time. Best time to go look at it.
We can also tune into eStream, I've heard, because it's that Thunder Awaken Beast Coast series that is still going live. I don't know how far into that one they are. So let's put production on the spot again and tune into it. There we go. No, this is Boom,
Boom
Sonics.
Sonics.
Oh, this is the tiebreaker.
This is a
Oh, I
tiebreaker
thought it was going to be
game.
easy. Okay, no, it's tiebreaker.
All right.
Even more interesting.
I'm
5.5 minutes in.
I'm pretty sure we have casters for this one as well, or are we just taking a quick glimpse on this one?
Just a quick glimpse.
Just
Yeah,
a quick glimpse.
quick
All right, cool.
I mean, they have Broodmother with Spotlighted, counterpicked by the Bristleback. I think that's a great matchup in the mid lane here. We have DP versus Kunkka, a very old matchup here. DP favored for sure, and Quinn, I think, in all these matches, I'm just going to favor him as a laner. He's a very, very strong mid laner, and
Well,
hopefully
what-
he can. What's their carry again? TA against Brewmaster. Very interesting. So
Interesting one.
anything could happen here. Both drafts look pretty good to me. It's going to come down to execution from the teams here, but I'm going Sonics all the way, as I mentioned before. Not going to back
Sure.
down on that.
Do you feel that there is a lane that can go in favor for Boom, then Fear?
This Brewmaster, as you can see right now.
Yeah, wow, great analysis.
I mean,
Perfect
he
timing.
just got ganked by the Kunkka, so he's breaking down the laning stage already. That was a really good gank there from Yopaj. So, laning stage isn't just a product of 1v1s. Your mid laner can decide to show up if he wants to, as he just did there. But the result of him making that gank means his mid towers now get pressured as MSS has joined.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm looking at is Yopaj's CS on the Kunkka. That will ramp up, but it looks like he hasn't really been enjoying his lane too much.
Who do you think has the best snowball lineup? Let's say the lanes go somewhat even. Who do you think needs to start being more aggressive on that map and just really start to run over the enemy side?
Boom has been known for starting off very aggressive and continuing there no matter what their draft does look like, but I feel like Sonics maybe has a bit of an advantage from the exit here.
I mean, Sonics for sure are going to be really scary in this draft because they have a TA, they've got the Broodmother, and then this Death Prophet looks like they made a rotation at mid lane. They're going to take that tower down, and now Quinn is going to be incredibly farmed and run to any lane, and I think they are going to be in control of this game.
Well, we can go over to C-Stream, check it out. You guys are going to have to do that yourselves, though. We're going to go on a break. We're going to wait for the rest of the series to play out, and then we'll see you guys soon.